Hello everyone, welcome on in. It's time for a new visual novel. This is actually the demo for A Tithe in Blood. For starters, how is the game audio? Is it okay? It looks fine, but kind of hard to tell. Game audio is good? Awesome. So, there's content things that you could turn on and off, and I would like to go over that because it kind of goes over the trigger warnings as well that come with this game. So you can disable depictions of active self-harm, imagery of fresh blood, healed self-harm scars, and then there's also auditory representations that you can disable as well, which is sounds associated with self-harm, heartbeat sounds, simulated tinnitus, and static noise. I'm going to keep all of these on, so if any of these would be a problem for you, I'm afraid this may not be the stream for you. But I also do want to point out another thing. The text, you can change it to open dyslexic font too, which is really neat that you can do that. I personally won't need it, but I like to see the options. Accessibility, go burr. But yeah, this controller things. So just from the settings alone, I feel like we're off to a good start for that. So honestly, that makes me more excited for it. Open dyslexic, you're beloved. I don't know much about this game. The developer did reach out to me to check this out, which is really nice. It's nice when indie devs are like, hey, do you want to like play my demo or games? And just like, fuck yeah, I do. Especially since I haven't really had anyone reach out that wouldn't be up my alley. This seems to be some kind of doomed yuri, so yep, definitely up my alley. Let's go. So, yeah. Dark fantasy. Obviously all those content warnings. I think this will be pretty up my alley. I don't know how long the game demo will be. We will find out together. But I guess without further ado, let's hit start. I'm already really liking the music. And this is just like the menu music, you know? Bloop. The flowers of summer shall wither. The leaves of autumn shall fall. Against the transient world, we are doomed to defiance, to the eternal folly of man. And so, the winter snow falls. Oh boy, the text turned red. That's not ominous. A terrible chill hangs on the air, the season proving bitter as it so often is here. On this cold day, a great throng of students slowly shuffles through the piled snow of the university grounds. The day's lecture is finally over. You win, the text turns red, oh boy. Some gossip freely with friends, while others fawn over their partners. Most, however, stroll silently. Amidst the sea of people walks one unremarkable student among many. Just cute. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen anyone depicted with an umbrella in snow. It makes sense, but you think that would be more common. Maybe I'm just stupid, though. That's also very possible. I could be stupid. It went without saying that I go to university. I was called smart, clever, intelligent. I quietly liked the praise and saw no reason to fight others' ambitious. Wow, I'm doing great. I quietly liked the praise and saw no reason to fight others' ambitions for me. As long as people told me I was doing well, I hardly cared what I did. Unfortunately relatable. Also, for the record, I will be doing narration in my normal voice unless I get possessed to do a female voice, because female voices are hard for me because I'm not female. Thumbs up. I wouldn't say I have a career in mind, nor any particular plan for the future. I barely chose this way of life at all. I simply fell into it. Things happened around me, and I followed the path of least resistance. I never considered what would happen when I had to think for myself. I don't know why that made me laugh. The train rattles and shakes as it trundles along the desolate city outskirts, the air inside stifling from the heaters. The seats always fill before I get on, so standing for the awkwardly long ride has become normal by now. With little else to do, I stare out the train doors. My thoughts soon turn inward, as they so often do in quiet moments. Not needing to study a day of high school has paradoxically made university all the worse. Facing with more difficult problems, and never having needed to work at understanding something before me, I found myself restless. I also never had to study a day in high school. I'm built different, I don't know. One might turn to friends for support, but my nature seems to drive others away. I always got on better with teachers than other students in any case. Okay, also mood, but let's go not having to study. The city outside becomes distant, its glass buildings reflecting a gray sky. The only color to be seen is that of a bright red Sapporo TV tower, its wire frame girders beaming through the white snow. Not having traveled outside of Hokkaido, it's difficult to view life here in an objective sense. That remoteness hasn't hurt the city, though, having every convenience one could hope for despite its distance from Tokyo. The snow season has brought the annual increase in tourists with it, a topic of some debate given the fuss and crowding they cause. The hotels and snowfields continue their trade, though, as while Sapporo may be the capital of Hokkaido, their money is still sorely needed. Cranes work day and night to build new apartments, the city's population ever rising. The bustling train station is one of the most modern in the country, a landmark of glass outside and high technology inside. Even the trains themselves are kept in eerily perfect condition, as if every trip were the first of the day. Sapporo never stops changing in order to keep up, as if locked in a rivalry with Tokyo's modernity. Is any of this right? I couldn't really say. Like me, everyone keeps going about their day in this ever-changing city, even as the past disappears around us for modern developments, new businesses, and more money. That place now passing by the train window is where I was born, and where I expect to die. Perhaps it's fate that I live in this grayscale city, so fitting is it for someone like me. The walk from the station to my house is thankfully much shorter, though the idea of selling it and getting an apartment closer to school is something I've considered more than once. Having passed the local cemetery on the way, I enter. Having slipped off my shoes, the patter of feet on wood echoes about as I enter the spacious living room. A flimsy plastic bag carries dinner from the nearby convenience store in one hand, while the well-worn messenger bag for school remains trapped over my shoulder. As my eyes adjust to the light, a familiar unease comes over me, the unease of true solitude. A haunting silence hangs in the air, the room's size only magnifying the effect. Few things provoke this unsettling feeling so deeply as an empty house which shouldn't be. With my money largely going good toward university fees and keeping the house, most of the rooms have been neglected. The table before me might appear a staely wooden construction, but the lie is exposed by the veneer having flaked off a corner, exposing cheap particle board. I'll go to a furniture store and replace it sometime, I think to myself as I hang on my coat and bag. Of course, some time is vague enough that I can rationalize away that time never coming. Mood. With my food quickly growing colder, the house itself being a little warmer than outside, I settle myself down on the cushion. The air soon fills with the studied and monotonous voice of a television news presenter as I begin to eat. The lukewarm set meal is, for better or worse, consistent in the way convenience store food usually is. The same goes for the bitter green tea which washes it down. The occasional click of chopsticks is all that serves to punctuate the uninteresting news report, the woman's voice rattling off the details of another traffic accident from the snow-covered roads. A routine day, much like any other this year. My attention beginning to drift from disinterest, my eyes settle on the cardboard box to the side of the table. I half-heartedly considered throwing it away, but like most, I decide to use it for storage. For what and when, I hardly know. It still has the shipping label attached, now that I look at it. To think that one thoughtless order of an otherwise nondescript book from some second-hand store would change so much of my life. The idle thought confirms my plans for the evening. Putting myself to work in order to calm my nerves, I turn off the television and sort the remnants of dinner into burnable and recyclable trash. With that, I take a long breath and head to the study. Even as I walk up the stairs, I become acutely aware of the sensation from the bandages of my left arm. a now permanent reminder of this grim pastime. A lavish room is revealed as I enter, the musty smell of books and old furniture hanging in the air. The haphazard collection of antiques and oddities is the result of a year haunting local antique stores and online marketplaces. Something, anything, to take my mind off of what was happening around me. My eyes moved down to the floor. What started as pleasant dark wood is now blighted with remnants of dried blood. The stain runs deep, no matter how hard I've tried to clean it. The sight going unnoticed by anyone else is one of the few advantages of living alone. Stepping around the faded remnants of chalk between the wood panels, I stride over to my desk. My laptop full of translation notes lie to the one side, while a time-worn leather-bound book lays open on the other. It's likely the oldest object for many miles around, and treated accordingly. Note assortia sulla natura della magia del sangue. Assorted notes on the nature of blood magic. The title alone made me curious, a curiosity which soon developed into obsession. Before long, that obsession turned from the intellectual to the practical. With some reverence, I carefully leafed through the pages. The words of the author, one, Isabella di Mora, speak across the ages as I scan the page. Translating the Italian text has been slow-moving, not held by its archaic form, but what progress I've made has yielded good results. Rather, it's been my body which has slowed me more than anything else. Looking between the floor and book several times, I attempt to visualize the patterns needed to replicate Isabella's experiments. The glyphs and patterns are strange and complex, more than one attempt ending in a dismal failure. Realizing I've begun to draw out this to avoid the necessary pain for as long as possible, I set the book down in its opened page and set about the preparations. Taking a piece of chalk from the pile of seemingly unrelated items on my desk, I kneeled down and began to retrace the intricate plans detailed in the book's pages. Every so often, starting to consult the sketches I'm using as guides. There's an odd beauty to the intricate patterns slowly appearing on the floor. One concentrated ring is followed by another, mysterious symbols and figures filling the pages' spaces between them. Isabella's process of experimentation and discovery, the result of a great mind imprisoned by her family, has been fascinating to uncover page by page as my translation progressed. Trying to replicate her results would soon prove even more intriguing. Slowly but surely, the detailing comes to an end, and the last of the lines meet. Coming to my feet, I set the chalk back down and set about the more distasteful side of the process. My heart racing, I pull up my left sleeve to well above the elbow, revealing the blotchy cream-colored bandages stretching down a good portion of my arm. There's a strange feeling in keeping something hidden despite being surrounded by oblivious others. Little by little, I unravel the dressing, leaving enough at the top of my arm to avoid it falling. As the skin beneath is revealed, one dark red line after another blights the pale flesh around it. Some have already scarred, soreness and itchy reminding me of their presence. Reaching to the desk, I take my knife in hand. The blade is nondescript by choice, bought along with the random items I didn't need to avoid arousing suspicion. Bringing it to my arm, I hover above a spot below the last cut, in hopes of not interfering with its healing. My heart begins racing as the knife settles against the skin. The sound of my breathing is maddeningly loud as it reverberates around the room, becoming ragged. My knuckles whiten as I clutch the knife's cold metal handle in my shaking palm. I dearly hoped this inhumane act against myself would become more natural, but even now my instincts scream at me to stop. Instinct isn't so easily snuffed out. As the moon's light glints off the cold utilitarian knife, I press the tip of the knife to the side of my arm. In one practiced motion, I overcome my body's pleading and force myself to slice the blade across. Pain lances through my body and mind, the gritting of my teeth the only thing stopping my painful whimpers from escaping. The tool's job done, I throw it to the ground and clutch my arm tightly. Dark crimson fluid seeps from the open wound, soon flowing freely down my arm and over my hand. Crouching down, I put myself to work to pull what attention I can from the wound. Putting my hand out before me, I straighten my index and middle fingers as thick, warm blood begins to drip from them. Trying my best to minimize my nervous shaking, the chalk outlines soon turn red as I trace them out at a slow but steady pace. I have to take this carefully, I remind myself. My body can't afford to do this often, every attempt meaning days of recovery. I'm already weak, and the winter's efforts hardly help. As the last of the white chalk turns to a wine dark red, I stand once more and glance about. The moonlight reflects off the fresh blood, a slow trickle still dropping to the floor from my arm. A certain dissonance strikes me. Between the messy red spatter strewn across the floor, the intricate Byzantine patterns they form. The panicked thought of this being some descent into madness briefly passes my mind. What madman, what crazy murderer could stand in such a spectacle and think themselves sane? Byzantine, I feel like I should know that word, but brain go burr. Rather than fear such thoughts, I treasure them as I close my eyes shut. The confirmation that I've not yet lost my mind. I can still see this from the outside. I'm not sure about that, girlie. I'm still human. As the book says, I concentrate on imagining the symbols and patterns around me in my mind. My emotions begin to shift to ebb, my nerves somehow becoming swept along in the strangely calming sensation. As if caught in a river, my thoughts begin to flow. Rather than fight it as I first did, I allowed the slow and uneasy trickle to take me, surrendering to the movements in my mind. Some are pleasant, others horrendous, but all prove fleeting and impermanent. But as a river soon becomes a torrent, identifiable memories and concepts becoming abstract and indistinct. Thoughts, feelings, sensations, all merge together in a surging rush. All physical sense of my body long gone as every emotion pours through me at once. In the swirling and flowing mass, the bedrock below it all begins to sway in this swelling flood. My sense of self nudges and rocks at first, held by the deepest roots. Yet, little by little, against the surging flood, and the soft grass gently presses against my cheek, the dew of early morning contrasting to the sun's warmth. My eyes slowly open, but my body feels too heavy to move. Far from being unexpected, it's now a familiar feeling. My mind too dull to do anything more, I silently watch the flowers before me gently sway into the breeze, while birds squawk in the far distance. It's all so different and so warm. As if waking from a terribly long sleep, I rarely pick myself up and my senses slowly return. A cloudless blue sky hangs above, with a lush green over the unkept forest surrounding me. It's all so idyllic. Here, there's no bright red tower piercing a sullen sky. The world which stretches out before me couldn't be farther from the hustle and bustle of the city I've left. The warmth of spring, then its many scents, confuses my senses, jarred by the shift from the cold winter's night I left. The only blemish on the scene is a column of faint smoke from workshops in the far distance, peeking above the tree canopies. And the magic worked. Asakawa Honoka, that's her name. Now we know. I thoughtlessly say the words to nobody in particular. The nature of what I've done no less surreal to me now than the few other times I successfully managed it. Scant. I can read, I promise. Unfortunately, my senses returning to me also means that pain is among them. I quickly set about rebinding my bandages, lest anyone here sees the scars now disfiguring my forearm. Groaning, I focus on making sure they're done tight and firm before fixing the ends once more. I'm the best at reading Satum. As much for myself as any other, I roll my sleeve back down afterwards to avoid the temptation to look. Adjusting my glasses and dusting myself off with my uninjured arm, I set off toward the town ahead. The town of Sapporo. An empty horse-drawn tram trundles along past my field of vision, the steed's hunchbacked owner patiently letting it trot along at a leisurely pace. He pays me little heed as they pass, the clatter of hooves blending with the sounds of passers-by. The shadows are small, so it must be around noon. The flow of time here always throws me off. So, bleh. As I so often do when I come to this place, I find myself just watching, strolling through as if in a daze, caught up in observing this strange and foreign world. Yet this foreign-feeling world is also strikingly familiar. For reasons unknown, the magic I've been attempting, transference, has reliably transported me here. When I should be in some other country, I instead arrive in the same location, but a century ago. The strangely dressed newcomer soon lost her novelty to the people here, few giving me so much as a passing glance as they go about their day. Words can't express how glad I am for the attention fading. Perhaps I should be glad that it's the Meiji area. My modern clothing would be just another strange dress to them. Some of those walking before me mix Japanese and Western fashion styles even now, to varying degrees of success. A couple of children run by, happily chasing one another along the street. It all feels so different to the grayscale photos and dry documentaries about the Meiji era, or about history at all. The people here feel alive and varied, from the drow to the cheerful. Dour? I don't know. Oh, look at her, she's so cute! My idle stroll comes to an end as I reach my usual destination. Outside the kabuki venue stands the brightest person here, happily seeing off someone she'd been chatting to before noticing my arrival. You changed color. I see, we have a visitor. Welcome back, Miss Asakawa. Yasue. Hello, Lady Yasue. You look well as always. I told you before, Yasue is perfectly fine. I'm glad to drop the formalities around at least one person. Fair. And then, just Hanaka is alright too. Despite my best efforts, I wilt before her sunny disposition as usual. I'm hardly even able to make eye contact as I mumble my reply. Yasue takes the comment in stride, her cheeks hinting at the smile hidden behind her fan. My arm suddenly aches from my wound, causing me to reflexively reach over and clutch it. Such pain is a constant reminder of the cost to get here. The tithe a normal person has to pay, to mimic the magic afforded to mages. True mages, such as Yasue. Her magic is no less amazing to watch now as when I first saw it. With mages so few in number in the normal world, and those that do exist keeping a low profile, I'm in some ways blessed to meet one who uses their ability so openly. Are you alright? I am fine. I'm just tired. Accepting my waving off of her concern, Yasue turns to begin walking, casting a glance behind her to invite me. I quickly skip up alongside as she begins to slowly stroll the streets, stealing the occasional furtive glance at the women as we go. While she's a pretty person in general, I never quite been able to place her age. I may be terrible at guessing such things normally, but it's her hair which throws me off entirely. I'd call it bleached white, but it looks natural despite her youthful face. Finding myself self-conscious, I run a hand through my bangs to neaten them, before adjusting my glasses just so. I'm not particularly good at things like fashion, but for this one person, I want to put in some kind of effort. No. And where are you headed? Nowhere in particular. The day's performance is over, so I thought to have a stroll to wind down. Well, I appreciate the company. Do tell me if you tire. I'm well aware you try to hide it, but I have noticed the toll these adventures take on you. She does her best to make the remarks as gently as possible, but her point is made. I'd been hoping she wasn't troubled over such things, but it's hardly the first time she's seen right through me. It feels so surreal. It's hard to believe this is how my own city looked a century ago. I'm sure we all must look rather quaint to someone so far in the future. What brought you on this line of thought? Just thinking back to when I first arrived here. You were like a little lost kitten back then. Not quite the image of who I thought might find this place. Yasue punctuates her observation with a churlish laugh. Yeah, churlish laugh, raising my spirits. As we head onto a side street, Yasue stops to greet a friendly hauler walking by. The man happily begins to chat as he adjusts the yoke around his broad shoulders. Or yoke, I don't know anymore. His sack of goods tied to the either end. Not wanting to intrude, I let my thoughts drift back once again. I stumbled about in the crepes of terror for some time, wandering into the town knowing nothing of where I was or how to escape. Nearly frozen in fright, I slinked along the side of the streets, onlooker struck by the bizarre clothing I wore. How fortunate I was for some children to run and fetch Yasue. When she first caught sight of me, I wondered which of the two of us was the more surprised. She sensed I was of a different time than the others, and took me under her wing without a second thought. Even now, I still feel like her helpless kitten. I just remembered I forgot to do a thing. Hang on. I'm pro streamer. It's not a super important thing, but it's important enough. There we go. I forgot to do that. I'm so smart. Even now, I still feel like her helpless kitten. She doesn't know the scene in my world which led to that first journey, though. I wonder if she'd think differently of me for it. As the hauler shuffles off and we start talking once more, Yasue speaks up. Few of our conversations are started by me, though she seems unperturbed by this. How have you been? You spoke of life being peaceful? Peaceful? I suppose so. Things are largely the same as ever. I go to school, come home, eat dinner, and sleep. As for you, this world only contains Sapporo and its people, right? Yasue nods solemnly. I dislike reminding her of the fact, but I have only the most vague understanding of such things. When we were sealed away all those years ago, this world became an unchanging one. That's all it will ever be for us, I suppose. Blinks. Hello. Well, until you arrived. Imagine my shock to have someone from the real world arrive after so long. She giggles once more, smiling to herself at the memory. How easily she laughs off her own past awkwardness. The first impression I had of Yasue was perhaps the expected one. So many photos blend together of people in formal outfits, stiff poses, and stern serious faces. While they may try to humanize history in school, there's only so much a museum trip or classroom lecture can do. My preconceptions would be dispelled in moments. In so many ways, she juxtaposed her ladylike properness with a carefree spirit. Her hair is lavishly cared for, yet flows freely rather than being tied up. Her speech is archaic and uses long obsolete words, only for her to chat naturally and openly. She dresses traditionally, yet gestures widely and wears her emotions on her sleeve. I know full well I'll be going over every conversation we have in my head for days, if not weeks to come, angsting over every misstep or hesitation, and overthinking every expression or pause. Yet Yasue will do no such thing. Everything flows off her. It's graceful in a manner, albeit not quite in the way I expected that word to be used, for someone of an era barely past samurai and daimyo. Sorry if I'm a disappointment. If I could save you from this world, I would. You may not be a grand mage, but I'm glad to have met you. Perhaps it's for the better that the first to come here would be someone like you. The art's really pretty. I don't think I've taken a moment to say that yet. The art's really pretty. Not knowing how best to react to her praise, I bashfully look away. My driving desire to be complimented is one of my ugly traits. I can only hope it's one of the few things Yasue hasn't perceived of me. I soon realize I've begun rubbing my arm out of anxiety. For all her praise, I still feel as if I'm telling a lie by omission. How would a mage react to finding the one before them as some regular person, mimicking their abilities through such methods? May I ask you a question on that topic? Feel free not to answer if you prefer. Go ahead. How old are you? I must admit, you seem young for a mage of this skill. The jump on topic forces me to think over the answer for a moment. I can't will myself to tell the truth. Why'd you give such a convenient excuse not to? I turned 20 a few weeks ago, I think. So you haven't. She trails off before finishing her sentence, her expression concerned. I'm left at a loss for words, only growing worse as the spark of realization brightens her face. Yasue? Follow me, please. I promise I'll make it worth your while. Once again, I find myself working to catch up with the cheerful woman. Dim lamps struggle to illuminate the tables around us. The izakaya's air filled with the chatter of patrons and a heavy scent of tobacco. With liquor flowing freely and so many in the tight space, the air is taking on a distinctly muggy feel. Many of the animated faces around us flushed bright red. My gaze rests on the waitress is skittering from table to table, dainty feet and sandals tapping quickly to keep up with the pace of orders. It's a little uncanny. Everything about the experience is so close to a normal restaurant, yet just different enough to throw me off. As always, I do my best to avoid accidentally catching the eye of anyone in particular. Yasue does no such thing, instead looking at me with an indulgent smile. I'm not sure I understand. This is for my birthday. It's really not a big deal. At this, Yasue makes a show of pouting. You never let me spoil you. I know your world has many lovely things, but I like to treat you at least once with what we have to offer. Cute. It's not like I mind, it's just... Old man, some local beer for this young lady, if you please. The man beyond the counter, as yet unseen, yells out his agreement in a hoarse voice. Wait, I mean, I'm still 20. I haven't even tried drinking yet. What better time to try? I usually give up my protest in light of how happy she is to be treating me like this. I have been too shy to fumble my way through dealing with the bar, and I wouldn't know what alcohol would be good to start with in the first place. Our drinks arrive quickly. The old man, perhaps the owner, personally bringing the bottles and glasses to our table. Yasue doesn't notice my confusion as she stops to pull out the cork in each. Even I know these usually have bottle caps. 40 sen, thank you. Yasue quickly obliges, passing him 2 odd silver coins. This is the first time I've actually seen sen being used. Regardless, the man cheerfully takes them before hobbling back off past the curtain. I hadn't even take her for a beer drinker, but she's clearly looking forward to this more than I, as she gives an eager smile. Trying to paper over my confusion, I quickly take one of the bottles in hand. Supporting it in one hand and tipping it with the other, I gently poured the amber liquid into the cup now held by my senior's delicate spindly fingers. Yasue returns the gesture soon after, an inviting thick, foamy head forming on the glass-eyed cradle. The calmly bubbling beer gives off a floral scent, a sharp contrast to the mess of crimson which brought me here, the smell of blood now uncomfortably familiar. I peer over my drinks to Yasue, her gaze patiently gauging my reaction. Perhaps it's my distrust of others, or my own anxieties causing me to overthink every gesture, but I find myself unable to plainly accept what should be a kind gesture. Is it really okay to treat me to all this? I feel like I've done nothing for you, but you keep treating me so nicely. You don't need to celebrate. You don't want to celebrate your birthday? I can read. No, it's not that at all. It's just... I had expected Yasue to defend herself. Instead, she stares at me intently, as if examining an interesting specimen before her. Oh no, Hanukkah, I need to stop being relatable. Maybe this is no different to how we've been interacting this whole time. Another of her elaborate plays, but this time, without a script to hand, each of us left to take our cues from the other, judging and moving in step with the other. as a particularly rowdy patron gives a boisterous laugh beyond us. Yasue smiles and closes her eyes in defeat. And perhaps I should have... Perhaps I have been coming on too strong. I apologize. I spent so long without new company that I was... I'm slightly terrified that I might lose you at any moment. Of course she'd be scared. She'd been sealed away for so long. Everyone here has been. But I'm important enough to Yasue for her to feel that way about me. Even if it's only by circumstances, is oddly nice. It's been so long since I felt needed by someone. The least I can do is appreciate her generosity. Then I'll make you a promise. I'll always keep coming here, and as often as I can. I mean that as a student as well. This world's practically a time capsule of history after all. So please, share this drink with me. Not for my birthday, but to agree on that promise. Her smile is enough of an answer. The pent-up tension in my body releasing. An odd sense of purpose sparks inside of me. The first I've probably felt in my life. With that, we both lift our glasses to our lips and take a long sip. In the end, I only had a few sips of the bitter stuff. Thankfully, Yasue, who was only too happy to oblige in drinking both our bottles, and a couple more besides. It seems the taste of alcohol will take some getting used to. I had heard that drinking before evening is odd, let alone at noon. Yasue seems to hardly care though, her face now flushed and gestures decidedly more animated. Of all the images I had of a lady from the Meiji era, the joyful Kuro single woman skipping beside me isn't one of them. As she gives me a slightly uneven smile, I offer a polite bow. Thank you, Yasue. Today's been fun. Sorry for not having more. Drinking will take some building up too. If I could muster the courage to have another. I'd be delighted to join you if you do. Perhaps it's the drink, or simple tiredness, but I find the corners of my mouth lifting, just a little. I wonder if the stupor will last in this real... blah 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 blah. I wonder if the stupor will last in the real world, now that I think of it. The passing finally reminds me of the greater lie. Perhaps it's genuine honesty after hearing her own, or the drink making me less inhibited, but I want to tell her the truth. Yasue, there's something I want to tell you. The reason I can't help you escape isn't just that I don't know how. It's... I'm not a mage, Yasue. Not like you. I'm just another person. But if that's the case, how did you... As I glance about at the people going about their day around us, Yasue senses my want for privacy. Come follow me. After a fair hike well beyond the town's limits, we arrive at the edge of the forest surrounding Sapporo. There's a peaceful serenity to this place that I've yet to find in my own world. Please tell me what's worrying you. Whatever it is, Honoka, I accept it. And the fact she cares should make me feel happy, but it stings my heart so. She doesn't know. She couldn't know. Taking a long breath to steady myself, I look down in shame and pull my left sleeve upward tug by tug. And before long, the bandages show. Their length chases us further and further up my arm, the beige gauze discolored by a blotch of bright scarlet. Fresh blood has pooled by now, the wound still proving sore as my sleeve drags over it. Hi, Peach. You're normal. As I dare to look up at Yasue, the woman wears a mournful expression. It's striking, compared to her gentle demeanor. What have you done to yourself? I'm not that sure of how it all works, to be honest. I found a book which someone wrote a long time ago, about how a normal person could summon magic like a mage does by second nature. Somehow, I'm not sure of the mechanics. It lets me do things like this, but needs my blood to work. They called it blood magic, in Italian anyway. In response to my fast-paced explanation, her eyes close. I can see the gears turning inside, the connection between my general frailty and rapid exhaustion with visiting now playing. Honoka. I know what she's going to say next. Neither of us want to hear the words. It's not as if I'm dying or anything. It's hard on my body, I can admit that. But for this... Please, Yasue. I want to keep seeing you. She thinks for some time, before giving a heartbreaking smile of defeat. I can't very well force you to stop, can I? I'd rather she have scolded me. Without any further defense to be made, I fall silent while looking at nothing in particular. Take care of yourself, Honoka. I'm glad to have met you. You have no idea how so, but please don't do anything that would risk your life. Do you understand? I understand. I'm sorry to have worried you. Nah, their sprites are squishing together. As I scuff my feet on the grass in angst, I notice Yasue's shadow moving nearer. By the time I look back up, my body freezes at how close she's come. Yeah, your sprites are overlapping. Me and who? Without a word, she reaches out with those long, dainty fingers and grabs the corner of my glasses, suddenly evening their position on my face. With that, Yasue steps back and smiles simply. That's what we elders are meant to do, silly. How old are you, Yasue? Her point made, Yasue's smile slowly wears off. The time to say goodbye draws near. Where the next visit will be is difficult to say, but the fact it will come is certain. I'm not sure if it's imagined or not, but I feel Yasue's become more comfortable with that fact. Understandable, for a mage seeing their first visitor in 100 years. So at least 100 years old, got it. Take care, Honoka. Thanks. I'll see you again. My head presses to the hardwood beneath, its hard cold surface rousing me. Barely opening my eyes, I let myself stay in place as my senses slowly return to me. The smell of musty books, chalk, and blood plays on my nose, the sense making an unpleasant concoction. My body seems impossibly heavy. The stupor seems to be gone entirely, lost to the world I just left, but the experience of transference takes a heavy toll on my strength. Forcing myself to stand, I stagger to my feet with a hand on my desk for support. I find myself unable to do anything but stand idle in the cold, empty room. My tired eyes stare blankly out the window, the moon's dim light reflecting off the bare branches of winter. Silence hangs in the air, moonlight illuminating motes of dust floating in the evening's darkness. My head feels empty. No matter how hard I try to form so much of a fleeting thought, simple exhaustion, I tell myself. With little desire to do anything else, I begin to walk to the bathroom before settling in for the night. The floor still bears the scars of my work, the book which started out all laying open amid a disorganized desk. I get some cleaning supplies and wash off some of the mess, I think to myself. Some time. The flowers of summer shall wither. The leaves of autumn shall fall. Against a transient world, we are doomed to defiance, to the eternal folly of man. And so, the winter snow falls. But scenario and concept, Sudiko. Character design, Kobuta. Scripting, papaya. There's a whole last fruit. Please, Yasue. I want to keep seeing you. Toka Itsuki. Her voice honestly sounds familiar. I'll have to look into her. Perhaps it's for the best that the first to come here would be someone like you, Mami Fujito. Even if it's something small, I always want to set things right in the world. Haruka Sukito. Many characters. Once I realized why I had the life I did, I felt I had blood on my hands. Characters we haven't met yet. Yonehara. Very well. Hate me if you wish. You don't need my permission to do so. Something like that. Oh my god, the kiss! Mami Fujita also sounds familiar, yeah. It should be fun to look into the VAs later. Act 1, Scene 2. The Free-Spirited Librarian. I like that it's like acts and then scenes, like a play. That's interesting. With a taste of coffee from the station lingering in my mouth, I idly watched the scenery stroll by with weary eyes. Another day begins. My daily routine now so deeply ingrained that getting to the university requires little more than muscle memory. While I may want to visit Yasue again, practicing blood magic won't be possible until my body has some more time to recover. Until then, I have little choice but to live out another day in this world. I counted among my worst traits, but I've always had a tendency to eavesdrop. My attention drifts from one conversation between passengers to another, living vicariously through others without the bother of involvement in their lives. Others seem to be in good mood from overheard clips of conversation. One salaryman talks to another about looking forward to the end of the week, being a Friday. Schoolboys chat about their plans for the weekend, the new game they're into. My life may have stopped, but those of others have kept moving. Plucking my phone from my bag for a distraction, I begin to check various messaging apps to get across what I've missed. Plans are made and rumors spread, while cute pictures and jokes are posted. While I might have tried to keep in contact with friends from previous schooling, we inevitably drifted apart without the connection of being classmates. These days, such morning browsing just covers the day's news and message board threads. It's funny how different this is to Yasue's time. She couldn't... And the screeching of the train's brakes put an abrupt halt to my thoughts, people yelping in surprise at the unexpected shuddering. The stop is so sudden that I have fallen if not for putting a foot out before me. In the momentary chaos at an end, I rate myself foot end to slip my phone back into my bag. Discontented passengers question and murmur as the train comes to a stop far from any station, soon quieting as a monotone voice from above echoes about the carriage. We apologize for the inconvenience. This train is currently stopped due to an accident on the line. In short, almost curt, message only causes more consternation among the passengers. Others around me begin to quietly chat between themselves, some wondering if a train ahead of us broke down, or if the bitter cold has caused line problems. Some wonder aloud if someone's died, the scandalous excitement to their whispers barely hidden. Seconds turn to minutes, the train showing no signs of moving for some time yet. The more impatient passengers pace about the aisle, though most settle into reading books or phones. With the heat inside only growing more stifling, I look out at the snow-covered world outside with some longing. As I do, a movement catches my eye from the tracks below. Catching a glimpse of blue, I realized I had seen something I shouldn't have. A man in light blue A man in light blue coveralls slowly makes his way along the gravel toward the front of the train, his face downcast. Dirty gloves hold a large roll of blue tarpaulin under his right arm. I've seen that material in the news. There's only one reason it would be used here and now. Suddenly, finding myself restless, I turn back toward the other passengers. All that faces me is a scene of mild discontent at their mundane routine disrupted, ignorant to the cause. Without anything to do with the knowledge I have, I simply take out my phone and begin to scroll through the news feeds once more. And so, one more passenger discontentedly waits for the routine to resume. And the day slowly draws to an end. My last daylight hours spent in the university library as they often are. The desk where the elderly librarian once sat lies empty, her shawl left draped over the chair's back as a small, perhaps unintended tribute. Ever since she retired, the school had struggled to hire another. The two of us had shared a silent agreement. I often remained in the library long past closing time, allowed to study while providing quiet company to the old lady as she worked to close up for the day. I enjoyed our quiet coexistence, free from expectations of more. A book sliding into place on a shelf ahead, it rouses me from my reverie. The new librarian busily working away. One Shino Kikuchi, according to the email which introduced the newest member of staff. Only hired in the last month, she has a stark difference from her elder in so many ways, not the least of which being her age. If I had to guess, she'd be in her early 20s at most. At least one thing is alike between them. She, too, lets me stay well into the evenings. Perhaps the old librarian passed a note to her. I'm thankful in any case. I hate being an imposition, but the school provides a far better environment to studying, given the solitude and loneliness of my faraway home. Looking back down to the book before me, a mundane bit of research material for my course, the words began to dance as I tried to read. The more I tried to focus on the passages, the more my thoughts skate away. The same happened with lectures throughout the day. One shudder or another in the last moments before the train stopped was what a human's life ending feels like. In that instant, their wanderings in this world ended. Yet, I have no other to tell. The same goes for the bandages running up my arm. They serve as an ever-present reminder of how little I have in common with anyone around me. I should have said this a while ago, but thanks for the company. An unexpected voice from the shelves ahead make my head jerk upwards. I hadn't realized how rattled I'd been from this morning's experience. My heart only now returning to its normal pace now that I have a distraction. Like so many others, the woman wears a smile so easily. I can't help but muse how odd she looks for a librarian, from her athletic clothing to how every movement belies a barely suppressed energy. Thank you for letting me stay. Evidently bored of her menial work and shelving books, Shino takes my reply as an invitation to have a proper conversation. Setting down the book in her hand, she comes over and spins the chair about, sitting herself sideways in a rather inelegant way. While the relationship between Yasuo and I may have a certain push and pull as we feel out each other's boundaries, Shino has no such concerns. Even now, her bright eyes move from me to the textbook in my hands, happily seizing on an opening to get closer to me. You can read Italian? That's cool. I know a few languages too. That's the way the world is these days, right? I guess so. I need it for my degree. So she wants to chat. And that too is the difference between Shino and the previous librarian, one I like rather less. Something throws me off about her, all the more so now that we're close. I can't quite put my finger on it though, making me feel bad once again for being so distrustful towards someone so friendly. As if an answer to my want to end the conversation, a playful ping resounds from Shino's pocket. Her hand dives into her pocket, quickly retrieving her phone to examine the message. Her face lights up as she starts reading. The woman looking like a child given a new toy, she begins scrolling something or another with her full attention. I don't particularly mind. We all have our appointments and such. A minute or so later, she fumbles with the on-screen Kona keyboard, slowly dragging her thumb across the grid to carefully type in her reply. Noticing my slightly baffled staring upon sending her message, she gives a grin. These things are pretty cool, aren't they? They might have just been for chatting before, but now it's all of cyberspace right in your pocket. The modern world's amazing. You can talk to anyone in the world so easily, or read an entire library. I'm an antiquated way of speaking. I never heard cyberspace used by anyone, at least not without a thick sense of irony. Without intending to, I let my confusion show on my face. Did I say something wrong? No, not at all. It's just... I thought everyone was used to phones these days. Squints. She's a mage, isn't she? Like, I'm getting that hunch. She quickly puts her phone away into a pocket and takes to her feet once more, slightly embarrassed for my picking up on it. She's giving mage. Yeah. Well, how should I put this? I grew up in the country, so it's only recently that I've been able to try things like this. Computers and smartphones are all new to me, really. Hey, if you're a mage, can you help us get our girlfriend out from her weird history-locked world, Liz? I suppose being a country bumpkin would explain it, though I thought even the most remote corners of Japan would at least have the cheaper smartphones around by now. As someone like Shino finds phones so exciting, maybe Yasue will too. Getting any single for internet access is obviously a non-starter there, though. What made you come to the city, then? Adventure in a word. I tend to drift between jobs, taking on whatever's interesting. Mood. So this is just temporary for you too? How long are you staying? She gives a simple shrug. Until I get bored of this one, I guess. What an odd attitude. I'd vaguely heard of people who drift from job to job as their whims take them, but this is my first time meeting someone like that. I'd be lying if I said I weren't a little envious of her approach to things. Isn't that hard? Nah, long as you have the right attitude, life gets a lot easier. You have to dedicate yourself to something along the way, I think. Even if it's something small. Always try to set things right in the world. If I can keep myself to thinking that what's going on at any one time isn't a big deal. This sounds like the experience of someone that's been alive for a really long time, like a mage. Her words are said with such innocent naivety that I'm thrown off by the strange woman before me. It's not that I disbelieve that a drive to accomplish something is good, but more that it's hard to believe someone when they so earnestly cling to it. Practically anything I've gotten myself into of late would be problematic to actually discuss with someone else, leaving me with nothing to continue the conversation. Thus, the distance between myself and others grows that little bit more. And that isn't to say that the carefree librarian is wrong, though. If there's any cause, any single thing I can believe in, it's freeing Yasue from that sealed world. She of all people doesn't deserve that fate, and I alone have the knowledge to even find her. Prompted by the thought of Yasue, my mind soon begins wandering of its own accord. If Shino wants to talk, I might as well try to get something useful out of her. I was wondering, do you know anything about mages? That's quite the change in topic. I saw a news article about a mage who works as a doctor a few days ago. It just made me curious. That's not entirely a lie. The all news article or documentary about mages catches my eye these days, now that I know one. Shino shifts about, discomforted by the subject. She quickly tries to paper over her reaction upon realizing I've noticed. And they're an interesting lot, aren't they? There's so few around that you rarely get to see magic actually being used. Squints. It's more that it's weird how people so different could be right beside us. That their experiences are so different, but nobody could tell. Do you think so? Your average mage isn't much different to a regular person, you know. It's sad how people are so distrustful in magic. I suppose they do keep their heads down here, though. Besides, powerful mages are something else, right? In Europe, they live way more openly, and have ancient bloodlines who own whole palaces. Look, everybody tried to police you if you could break the laws of nature on a whim. Fair point, I guess. I suppose that's why people get so cautious around mages, though. People fear what's different. I can only imagine how powerful a mage must have been to seal away a whole portion of the world. The entirety of old Sapporo and its people, carved away from reality and lingering for an eternity. How anyone there hasn't gone mad is beyond me. Shino's earnest is no less visible on this topic than the last. Her angst over people's dislike of Mage is quite clear. She hardly seems the type to hide her feelings, earning her some degree of trust, even if I do dislike her noisiness. Realizing the time is getting on as the sun begins to set further, I file away Shino as a potential source of information as I get up and slide the book into my bag. Heading home. I should head back before I get too tired. Thank you again for letting me stay so long. My pleasure. Endlessly stacking books in this big building all by myself gets lonely. With that, I give an appreciative nod before pulling my coat from the seat and slinging it over my shoulders, my bag following before I start shuffling out of the library. It wasn't a lie that I needed to head back before I got too tired, but the reason goes unsaid. Tonight, I'll renew my efforts on studying my other reading material. If I'm to devote myself to some cause or another, then that cause will be something only I can do. My concerns already begin to feel fleeting as I focus myself on the task ahead. From now, my purpose in life will be freeing Yasue from her gilded cage. Act 1, Scene 3, A Different Time. Sword and spear ring out as they clash, voices bellowing and men falling as their vibrant cloth rolls about in violence. No less vivid are the heartfelt expressions, from the deepest fury to the most devastating anguish. From my seat in the audience, I watch on silently with rapt fascination. Shushingura, the treasury of royal retainers, a tale of 47 Ronin and their quest to avenge their master, caught between loyalty to their late lord and duty to the shogunate. And the story reaches its bloody conclusion, the villain cut down and their lord's spirit at peace. For going go against the shogun, however, all will sacrifice themselves for their deeds. It's a stirring performance, the actors' heartfelt cries and gestures feeling more visceral than any picture on a screen. Like most at my age, I thought theater a little too old-fashioned, obsoleted by movies and TV shows. How wrong I was. The crowd's applause, joined by my own, echoes about as the heavy curtains draw across the stage. Another fine work coming to an end. The play is apparently frequently performed here, being very popular in its time and a favorite of Yasue. It's no wonder either. This is a heartfelt tale of honor, in an era in search of a cause, and the tumultuous upheaval of a feudal society becoming a modern imperial power. It's inevitable that many would remember his simpler, somewhat fictional past. Shushingura even resonates with someone like me. It isn't that honor doesn't exist anymore in my own time, albeit in a different form, but that it's distant, something you only hear about on the news. While she was performing, the curtains soon withdraw once more, slowly revealing the performers and the director. Yasue stands at the center of the stage, bowing with so many men flanking her. Some are sturdy, while others are slender, some elegant and others brutish. All natures and appearances are represented, each having given their all in the grand play. Yet, not one of the actors is human. Damn. Another round of applause ensues from the crowd, who are no less delighted by the illusion than the performance itself. Of course, I'm among them. No matter how many times I see it, Yasue's magic still amazes me. Damn. Okay. With little to occupy myself with following the play, and little desire to intrude in the lives of others, I quietly wait for Yasue outside the large venue, a task made easier by the cool night air. Life goes by slowly here. That contrast is one of the most jarring things about our two worlds. Even the most patient modern people have a sense of urgency about them. They're always thinking of things they need to do, people to meet, and news to read. Here, the old man urging his horse on simply pines for a meal and bath. His day's work over. As Yasue finally leaves the venue, I call out to her. The way her shoulders relax a little when she sees me waiting doesn't go missed. I trust you enjoyed the show? Of course. I don't get to see kabuki much, and definitely nothing like that. Yasue gives an indulgent smile at the praise, the two of us starting on our way down the street. It's hard to believe that the road we walk is the very same one I've so often visited downtown, the street layout uncannily familiar. Even as we walk, the odd passerby gives the appreciative bow or word of thanks to Yasue. Her only response each time is a humble, almost shy bow. Yasue must be one of those grand mages Shino mentioned, yet she herself never mentioned how powerful she was. Far from finding herself flustered by those around us, she instead turns to me for conversation. I did have one question about the modern world. Is kabuki still enjoyed? Do you know if my venue is still there? I feel a little pained by her clear hope for a different answer than I can give. In a world of movies, phones, and streaming, theaters largely relegated to the more culturally refined. Modernity continued, unquestioned. Her theater is a little more than a small plaque in the real world, one of many minor landmarks commuters unknowingly walk by every day. Were it not for Yasue's interest in the topic, I wouldn't have noticed the unremarkable sign myself. Said plaque never mentioned Yasue though. Odd for someone who seems to have particularly curated the venue's reputation. People have a lot of entertainment available to them these days, so it's usually the older generation who still attends. The theater still has a good audience on the mainland though. Not so much around Sapporo, but amateur kabuki is still performed here ever so often. I'm trying to put as positive a spin on it as I can, but the slight clouding to her expression is enough to see I failed. It's difficult to communicate just how much she's missed in over 100 years, much of it harrowing and depressing. Trying to move the topic to more palatable ground, I speak first. With all your magic, what drew you to use it for kabuki? Mages are often a little eccentric. Our nature tends toward that which normal society doesn't understand, that isolation changing us. When I saw how delighted people were with what I conjured, I decided then and there to keep doing this for a living. If only my sister had the same desire to remain rooted with common people. She never mentioned she had a sister. Even now, her words more mumbled to herself than directly towards me. There don't exactly seem to be many mages around. I've never seen one before meeting you. I can only speak for Sapporo, but I guess there are only about a few dozen, maybe, within the city. It's difficult to know for sure because many hide their powers or live away from common people as hermits. Maybe they don't know your power, their power, rather. Yasue gives a reflexive snort at the idea, the crude announcement at odds with her otherwise calm and collected nature. She soon answers my confused reaction. That would be impossible as forgetting you could see. No mage could simply forget their sense of magic. I see. Sorry. I really don't know much of anything about this. You say that, but you seem to leave this sealed world quite easily. I think to myself about how to communicate such a thing, ending up with another clumsy analogy just as Yasue had used. If I had to put it one way, it feels like holding a rock. Letting go, returning to my normal world, is easy. On the other hand, getting here is like making a rock on the ground float up into my hand. Even though I can do this reliably now, it still feels surreal. Does that make any sense? That makes altogether too much sense, actually. I couldn't have described magic any better myself. With this, she emphasizes her point by conjuring a fan into her hand. Magic doesn't fit the laws of physics. We're denying reality, and so, reality works against whatever magic's being used. Therefore, maintaining anything magical takes active effort. To use your words, to keep a rock in the air, you have to hold on to it. Simply, let your hand loose and... With this, her fan dematerializes in a moment and drops to the ground. Perhaps you're not as ignorant to our ways as you think. I still need to learn more about all of this. Sorry if you don't like me questioning you all the time. On the contrary, I actually rather like that sense of curiosity you have about you. Have you tried asking your friends about them? I don't have friends to ask. I'm not really the type. You seemed rather approachable to me. Here I was, worried whoever might arrive in this world would be some aloof old mage, grown haughty and arrogant from skill and age. She gives an earnest smile to show her sincerity. Maybe it's only our being forced together by these strange circumstances, but having the company of Yasue is something I'm grateful for all she accepts my questioning of her. Yasue never pries into my own affairs. Besides, everyone would seem approachable to her. Somebody walk up to Yasue in the street, the powerful mage, thinking nothing of speaking to them as equals. It would be so easy to become aloof and arrogant with that kind of power. She's so easygoing, and has so many skills and interests. In every way, Yasue is a far better person than I. How unfair it is, and that someone like her instead of me would be so cruelly sealed away. As he turned a corner, Yasue's soft voice speaks again. I did have one more question, actually. Where did you get the idea that I was powerful? You have nobody to compare me with, right? The new librarian at my university wanted to chat with me, so I asked about magic. I thought I should know more about something I'm using. Oh, you're in a university. That's wonderful. May I ask what you're studying? I'm a little taken aback by Yasue's excitement, but for remembering the context, university must have been rare to get into in her time, let alone for a woman. Humanities. Literature, mainly. Well now, how useful that you found yourself in the past. Western literature. Hydrate will do. Sakun, Seidon. Sure, totally proper water. 100%. And the pace of the conversation comes to a stop. Yasue left with an awkward smile. You almost find a common wavelength so often, only to miss by so little each time. Yes, Seidon? And then again, if it hadn't been for my interest in European literature, I never have ordered that book on blood magic. I wouldn't have had the patience to slowly read through the handwritten pages either, my well-thumbed Italian dictionary at hand all the while. What would I put as my bibliography, even if I could use something I found here? A friend told me? Good point, good point. I thought you said you didn't have any friends. That was a cheap rhetorical trap, and her teasing face shows she knows it. That said, I found myself rolling the idea around in my mind like a sweet. The thought suddenly comes to mind that I brought something along, thanks to chatting with Chino days earlier. My hand dives into my pocket to retrieve my phone, but before I can show it to her, a cheerful red packet slips out and falls to the ground first. Yasue's curiosity takes control. She quickly stoops down and takes it in her hands. Choco. What's this? It looks like a Kit Kat to me. Oh, I completely forgot about buying that. It's just some chocolate. Yasue hardly hears me, entirely captivated by the relic of my world as she turns the packet this way and that. She's probably unable to read the English branding, and unused to the modern packaging to begin with. It's a little charming, actually. She's hardly shy about her bewilderment, instead happily playing with the foil edges and trying to make sense of the slogans and marketing. Chocolate. I've heard about this. It's a medicine that's sold in Tokyo. So this has finally made it to Hokkaido then? You don't even know, Yasue. Oh, it's not medicine. Just a food. A sweet, I guess. She's not making a secret of wanting to eat it, very visibly stopping herself from asking. I feel like a mother whose kid is begging at the store, her little squiggly mouth. You can have it. They're cheap. Her sweet smile is cute. I'm a little startled by how quickly she begins to work on the wrapper, and how clumsily she rips it apart. It's easy to forget just how ingrained so many everyday things are to a modern person, like the specific ways packets are designed to open. No sooner does she take a mouthful of the chocolate inside, but her face lights up in delight. It's so sweet! She continues munching away, raising her free hand to poorly hide her chewing mouth. The modern world has so many wonderful things. So Yasue has a sweet tooth. I wonder when sugary sweets reached Hokkaido. She might have only ever had bean and rice-based confectionery. Sugar would be terribly sweet compared to anything she's had before. As she savors the last few morsels from the packet, I reach in and take the phone from my pocket once more, usually having left it charging when I came here in the past. Yasue gulps down the last of her chocolate as they bring it up between us, her puzzled face reflecting off its shiny black screen. The slight movements of the sprites is very good. She jerks back a little in surprise as the screen lights up, eager to see what she makes of it. I unlock the phone and hand it over to her. What's this? A phone. Phone, you say? Here, you can tap on the screen to do things. You give a couple of taps here and there to show opening an app and such, before Yasue gives it a try for herself. I don't think she quite understands it all, but her face lights up as she slowly gets the hang of it. As Yasue fiddles about, she managed to discover moving things by dragging left and right, and opening controls by tapping completely by herself. I'm surprised she worked it out so quickly, but I suppose she's still just human. It's not like I understand how a phone really works, I just use it. What's this? And she lowers the phone for me to see. It appears Yasue has managed to open the camera app, the viewfinder currently pointed down at our feet. Mobile phones are also cameras these days. You can take photos by pressing this button. The idea seems to have stumped an already perplexed Yasue. And take the phone back to guide her through how the camera works, changing the phone camera and changing to the front camera and holding up to show both of us on screen. It's admittedly a little clumsy. I've never been one for selfies, but keep trying to move the phone the wrong way to keep us in the shot. Oh, that happens to me all the time too. If I need to like adjust where it is, I'll sometimes move it the wrong way. The look of sheer glee on Yasue's face when it all clicks for her though, as seen on the screen before us, makes it all worth it. I can't help but smile at the absurdity of the situation as the two of us crowd into the swaying frame. With some difficulty, I managed to somehow maneuver a finger onto the shutter button, finally taking the shot with a loud click. Bringing the phone down between us, I show Yasue the saved photo, her face leaning in close to take in every detail. Just kiss already! Incredible! Everything's so colorful, and we didn't even have to stay still. How did it develop so fast? It's probably a bit complicated to explain, but photos like this don't need to be developed. It's not going onto film. I'm so used to the digital era that the days of film cameras slipped my mind. As I replace the phone in my pocket, Yasue rights herself, but the excited energy from her new discovery still remains. I have to remind myself yet again that this woman's actually the older of us. Do you have Flappy Bird on your phone? You show her your offline mobile games. Thank you, Hanukkah. For the first time in so long, I feel like I have some connection to the real world of the... Oops. Oop. Of the... Which era is it now? After the Meiji era, it went Taisho, Showa, Heisei, and now Reiwa. Hanukkah, do you have games on your phone? Right? Let her play games on your phone. Reiwa. How lovely a name. Those in your era must live an amazing life. And the food as well. It's so nice. I hold my tongue, but it's also ordinary to me that I hardly notice such things day to day. To Yasue though, this might as well be another world entirely. Turn this woman into an iPad baby, yes! Get like those baby sensory like iPad games for like cats to play to catch the fish. I already forgot if I realized I got so distracted by the idea of fish iPad game. I hold my tongue, but it's also ordinary to me that I hardly notice such things day to day. To Yasue though, this might as well be another world entirely. Her childlike joy is quite charming. It feels nice to have helped her. However, accidental it may have been. I wonder how long it's been since I have. I'm so wrapped up in my own feelings that it takes a moment to realize Yasue's attention has shifted back to me. The smile suits you. I may need a fish iPad game in front of me. Yeah. You might be onto something with that, Sato. In a moment, my face collapses. It's not that I hate her well-meaning compliment, but somehow it doesn't feel right to smile. Not after everything that's happened. I don't know how you smile so easily, especially after being sealed away. It's been over 100 years now. My age, the people, this world, everything unchanging. I wasn't always like this. The worst of my time here was the period I entertained escape. That every moment I failed to find a way out was a moment in the company of loved ones that I lost. How have you lived for so long though? You don't look old at all. Why, thank you. Mages, powerful ones anyway, can tap a little of their magic to slow their aging. It's not unusual for some to live perhaps triple a normal lifespan, or even more. I could have taken the easy way out and not done so, but... I couldn't let myself die here. Not in the prison she set me to wander. My revenge on her would have been my final play, if only she still lived. Interesting. For the first time, I catch a glimpse of something darker in her. Without thinking, I take a step back, my chest tightening at the change from her otherwise gentle nature. A cheerful red packet crumbling up in her tightening hand reminds me of the here and now, yesterday forcing the thoughts from her mind given my presence. It's only natural to hate anyone who did such a thing to her, but I didn't know she had such anger bottled up. That isn't your concern, though. Let's end talk at that matter. I see much has changed in your world, if not mine. Pants are common now, for one. She gives a small smile, trying to distract herself with a lighter topic. I can't help but feel awful, but I humor Yasue for her sake. I wouldn't say it to her now of all times, but this world reminds me a little of a snow globe. A small slice of the world captured at one point in time, and now everlasting. A world where the company of strangers is all she had. Don't worry, kimono and yukata are still worn, especially for festivals and events. I wore one to the last fireworks, actually. I'd like to see that. He looked pretty in one. Every so often, she oversteps into undeserving compliments. I get that she wants to put me at ease, though. One of my earliest memories as a child is standing around in the yukata all ready to go, but the festival being cancelled. To cheer me up, my parents took me to see the fireflies instead. That's cute, actually. When I saw them, I thought they were better than any fireworks. They almost looked magical as a child, floating about in the night's darkness. That's sweet. It's been a long time since I saw those. It's been a long time for me as well. Fireflies are hard to find anymore, with increasing pollution and less wilderness. I feel an altogether too familiar pang of regret. I'm mentioning my family, my body going cold at the idea of having to think about this any further. This is the one place I'm free from that feeling. Why did I have to bring them up? Please don't ask anything further about them, Yasue. Please. Soon, that wish becomes altogether too true. The silence makes it clear Yasue's been taken off guard, acutely aware of the topic to avoid. As I feel pain from clutching on my arm, I decide to use the one excuse to leave that I told myself I wouldn't. I should be going. I'm feeling tired. And that's fine, Honoka. Take care of yourself. For what it's worth, I'm glad you count on me as a friend. Everyone needs some, even if you might not believe it. And that was why I took up theater after all. Thanks, Yasue. I'll see you later. Damn. With that, I take a deep breath and close my eyes. Even as the magic begins to take hold, my mind is elsewhere. I can make the world a better place as Chino is working towards. I'm too selfish and too useless to do something like that. What I can do is help this one person. No. Oh, that's where the demo ends. That's a good place to end the demo, honestly. I'm very intrigued to see how that story keeps going. There's still characters that were in that little opening sequence that we haven't met yet. We'll play a survey. It's a Google form. Overall, which of these best describes your feelings of the demo? I would say very positive. What were your thoughts on the demo overall? I don't have many thoughts. I really liked it and look forward to what's to come from the Rest of the story. I really like the writing in the game so far. Very positive. I don't have any comments though. How do you feel about the art in the game? I love the art. It's really pretty. I wish I could draw like that. My art style isn't like that though, unfortunately. My model freaked out. Hang on. Okay, there we go. My model's better now, ish. Thanks. Okay, we good. I don't have any comments about the art. Well, actually, I would like to eat the art. It's very yummy looking. There we go. Loved the music. The music was very good. Do I have a comment about the music? Nah, not really. How do you feel about the technical aspects of the game? This includes the interface, character movements, and other parts of the presentation. I will say very positive because I like the accessibility features. Like, also the character movements, other parts of the presentation. I liked it all. I'll just actually leave that blank because did the sensitive content, self-harm, blood significantly affect your opinion of this game? Did you feel that you're adequately informed about the game's content before playing? Yes. Were you aware of the options to disable visual and auditory recitations of the sensitive content of the game? Yes, because I looked at the settings. But the sensitive content didn't affect my opinion of this game, but, like, I'm fine with that stuff, so there's that. Sensitive content. I don't have any suggestions or features that I'd like to see included. I would be likely to purchase the full game, though. It was pleasant. I have not played any of their other games, though, unfortunately. Yeah, there you go. Yippee! Well, yeah, that was that. That's very exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed the demo as well. I had a lot of fun with it. You do appreciate the ability to hide it, even if you're okay with fictionalized representations of it. We like accessibility features. Yeah, we love that. The girls are waiting for you. Let's meet again. Yeah. Thank you, Studio Ellen, once again for reaching out to me to try out your demo. This was definitely very up my alley. And yeah, hopefully I'll have time for it when the full release comes out as well, because I would like to play it some more. Maybe I could recruit a friend to help me read the voices. But yeah, this is fun. Yes, I enjoyed. It seems like chat enjoyed it too, which is always good. Yeah, I think that's where I'll end it for the YouTube streams. Recruit a friend, you say. Are you interested, Sadum? Because you could be that friend I would recruit for the full release of this game. But yeah, that'll do it for the YouTube and the just general recording. So for that, I will say my parting words. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. I'll catch you all next time, whenever next time is. But until then, fare thee well, YouTube. Bet. But that would be too short for a Twitch stream, so let's play Muse Dash or something like that. Everyone up for Muse Dash? Muse Dash time, yeah. Let me actually throw up a BRB screen for a bit first. Get up and stretch a bit before. They had any music yesterday? Yeah, I saw that. Like when I was like opening Steam, it's like, oh, there's an update for Muse Dash. So, yeah, that's part of why I'm like, ah, yes, Muse Dash, because it's just a demo. It surely can't be that long. Loop. I will be back not too long from now. Oop. I very nearly selected the starting scenes created, which would have been kind of funny if I did, but where is Mustache? Where is she hiding? There we go. Just have to reselect the window. I'm glad you're live though, Nigiri. If you're not too stuck in ads, you can hear me anyway. I feel like I could stand to turn up Muse Dash. There we go. Let me know if it's too loud, because I can turn it back down. I don't know what I copied, but okay. Let's find out what I copied. I'll paste it in chat. The name of the song. Cool. That's actually really convenient. They can just copy paste the name of the song. I'll wait for the ad break to finish up before starting the song. Welcome back from ads. Sorry for not running the ad break sooner into my break. Oopsie. But hello, Nigiri. I'm glad you're alive. It's nice to see you in chat. It's been 84 years. I did turn up the game audio. If I need to turn it down, please let me know. Because it was seeming pretty quiet, so that's why I turned it up. So, yeah, but there's new songs in Muse Dash, so let's play them. Game audio is fine? Awesome. Love to hear it. Yeah, you good, Nigiri? New songs, oh boy. Yes, new songs. Yippee. You missed the Yuri visual novel I was playing. Well, the demo, anyway. Migu. Oh yeah, I forgot. There might be a way for me to easily set up you guys seeing my keyboard input for Muse Dash. Should I bother setting that up? Shouldn't be too difficult, all things considered. I'm so good at whole notes. Wallowing in your misery, sorta. But Migu, oh dear. Is it because of your work? Is your job killing you slowly? You are the best at hold notes. Satum. Pretty much. Okay, let me get the keyboard visible for you guys so you can see what I actually do. Not that. You can see how I tap away at things. Oop, that's not what I wanted at all. uh, Application capture should be fine. That is actually what I want, but it is showing the whole screen. Let's go for window capture. There we go. You want to quit really bad, but you don't need to take you a while to find one. That's fair. Oh. Because I want this to just show the keys I use for Mustache for the most part. So I don't use H, but I can't exactly remove H without, like, making a new thing, so... You think you're locally starting to feel burnt out? That's fair. I do hope you can get a new job, though, because that would be cool. Especially a job that pays you better. Okay, this isn't exactly working as I hoped. I wonder if it's because I have it on my other monitor. Let's see. Okay, it's because it was on the wrong screen. Quote unquote. It's just actually really subtle, actually. Here, I might have to turn up the opacity. I will get this to work, I promise. Hmm. You only make 1650, but you think you go up if you put there for a certain amount of time. You don't know how people feel about Target, but they pay 19. But you're not breaking your back for a job. Yeah, that's fair. Don't break your back for a job, please. I wonder if maybe the light mode will be better contrast. Oh, yeah, light mode is definitely a lot better for contrast. Oh, I'm not showing one of the characters I use. G and H are empty. I'm so smart. Yeah, I use D, F, and JK. I could, in theory, set up two different things, but if it's on the second monitor, will it be fine? Yeah, okay. Cool. So it doesn't have to be in my face. I figured out. Are you proud of me? So this is why I could probably figure out a way of getting it being colored, but that can be a later day problem. But you guys get to see how I hit my keys. I did watch the, like, you're talking about, like, the Project Diva, not Project Diva, Project Sekai movie, right? I watched it. I watched it with Peachy, actually. It has single-handedly roped Peachy into playing Project Sekai, finally. Only for her to find out that all her friends were surprised that she wasn't already playing it. I feel like I could do so much better on this. Ah, bah, 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 bah. Well, that was a time. Until you delete Yuri from Pro Second, you're not touching it anymore. That's fair. You feel like you should also be playing it, but you're not. I honestly like. I started playing Project Sekai like on release, but I haven't really been playing it much, just because like over time it hurts my hands. So like I'd rather play something that doesn't hurt my hands. If that makes sense. Uh, Hang on, I'm doing something. Trust. Hee hee, gradient. Let's go. If Prosec ever releases an official PC port, you might give it another try, but that's fair. If I ever get compression gloves, I might play it more often. uh, oh boy, hard difficulty 9. What could go wrong? God, I need compression gloves, but the size of like compression gloves I have on my throne like goes out of stock very often. So I can't even be like, yeah, check out the compression gloves on my throne if you wanna, get me compression gloves. I'm here just to suffer, I guess. I also would deeply benefit from a corset, but those are expensive, unfortunately. At least ones that wouldn't necessarily make me dysphoric, because corsets are generally for women, and I am not a woman. But like men's corsets are like almost non-existent or extremely expensive. Cannot win. I should draw Saku in a corset though. Duh. And if anyone in chat feels like drawing Saku in a corset, I will not stop you. Sorry, locked in a bit. Good corsets were anyways true. You'd have way more corsets if they weren't expensive. This is why you wish I had Ren Fair in winter, because when you have one that has sleeves. A corset with sleeves? That's news to me for corsets to have sleeves. Like, is it part of a shirt? What's it like seeing my not clicks, characters per minute live in action for Mustache? They're like lace sleeves. It's just part of the corset. Huh. News to me. I don't really go corset shopping for the previously mentioned reasons, so it hurts your brain. My typing speed hurts your brain. That's fair, I guess. No, I don't think I stopped recording. Hmm. That mostly affects future me for video editing purposes, but hmm. Maybe an underbust corset, but Saki in a corset would be very slay. You're right. Uh, I need to stop recording.